everybody, it's Brian Lee with On the Level with yours truly, Brian Lee, powered by Metro Home Improvement. Today, we've got an exciting show for you. We're going to take you behind the scenes in the insurance industry, and we're going to talk about wind, hail, and storm damage. Everything the adjusters don't want you to know. And we've got an expert in the studio today, Mr. Ryan Myers. In the studio today, we have Mr. Ryan Myers, one of our associates here at Metro Home Improvement, who handles the insurance side for us with regards to insurance claims with hail, high wind, storms, anything that you have that hits your house and messes it up. Mr. Ryan Myers is out there. He's Johnny on the spot. Hey, Ryan, glad to have you in the studio today.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Oh, man, it's great. I want to go over a couple of things so we can explain to homeowners exactly what we do and how we do it, because you're a driving force behind a lot of that because you run the insurance division from the hail, the wind, and the high storm, right?
Yep.
So let everybody know your background. How long have you been doing the insurance restoration work?
Oh, God, over 15 years.
Okay. And you've come at it from a lot of different aspects, right?
Yes.
From hail to wind to, storm damage, floods, things of that nature, correct?
Yeah, I've done just about every type of natural disaster that there is.
Folks, when he talks about hail, it would be the damage from hail hitting your shingle and the energy from that hail ball causing a divot in the top of the shingle. And that energy disperses across that shingle. It knocks the granules loose, and it leaves a pit in the shingle. And when that happens, your roof will, if you had any life left in it, it will be sped up exponentially. I mean, if you had 10 years left, if you get a good hailstorm, that roof could be shot immediately.
Yeah, when the hail hits the shingle and it displaces the granules, it exposes the asphalt. And the UV rays start to eat the asphalt. It accelerates the aging process. And is what actually matters the most is if the hail's dense enough and large enough to fracture the fiberglass mat inside the asphalt. That's actually what destroys the shingle. And that's what's considered functional damage.
100%. And then to even extrapolate on that a little further, if you've got a lot of trees that are around the house and the leaves get on the roof, well, that starts mold or biogrowth, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. You get moss.
Yep. The lichen will actually feed off the shingle.
Right.
It'll actually eat it.
Absolutely. That's why a lot of shingle manufacturers today are going with AR, which is algae resistant.
Right.
And that's an impregnation of copper sulfate inside the granule on the shingle. And that resists any mold or algae growth that you might have. Resists. It's not 100% a science, but it helps slow down the process a lot, right?
Yeah, Atlas is actually really doing a really good job with putting a lot of copper in their shingles. And they call it the Scotch Guard, where it's a full 30 years, they say, that you're not going to get any algae growth.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I bought the Roof Resource franchise for all Macomb County and Grosse Pointe, right? And, we do a bang-up job with the roofs.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing your signs more and more as I drive around trying to do my own thing. I'm running into you guys a lot more. Right.
And the Roof Resource is obviously starting to get into the insurance work because it's a hard nut to crack, right?
Absolutely.
You get calls because you've got a pretty large book of work and you've known a lot of people over the years and you get a lot of referrals, so that kind of keeps you going.
Yeah, it seems that anytime somebody's had a problem and been turned down and I get referred to them and I actually get them the job and get everything approved, they tend to give me a lot of referrals because they're really grateful.
You really get in there with the people and you take photographs and you do your thing. And that's kind of what I want to talk about too is, Ryan, give the viewers an idea of how a claim goes about from the time that you get there, like from the inception, like what do you do and how do you do it throughout that process?
Well, the first thing I do after I introduce myself is I want to always do an inspection and check out exactly what's going on before I have them do anything. I don't want them to call the insurance company and make a claim and they not have a valid claim. I run across a lot of customers that have had another company out and they're promising them all new everything and they never even do an inspection.
Well, let's hold your thought 1 second. That's really important. And the reason I'm going to say that too is this, Ryan. You do the inspection, You don't promise them anything. So you
Absolutely.
don't overpromise and underdeliver. You physically do the inspection to make sure that claim is legitimate, right?
Yeah. Well, also, all the adjusters, when I meet them from the insurance companies, when they see me, they already know me. And they know when they're meeting me that it's a claim that's going to be approved. I don't have them come out and there's not good functional damage.
Right. And that's because, A, your association, and B, your experience.
Oh, yeah. And then, I went to the Hague Education, Hague Forensic Engineering. They make the guidebook for what's considered coverable damage for the insurance industry. And I got certified as an inspector for them residentially and commercially. Yeah, and they're also the forensic engineering company that they do a test where they shoot a 2x4 at a window to see the impact resistance and the design pressure. And so they kind of make the industry standard of how durable and what it takes, to damage these building products.
So for layman's terms, and all things set aside, right? They're kind of like the police
Absolutely.
of the industry, correct?
They make the guidebook for the insurance industry on what's considered coverable and actual storm damage. And they also have in their book how to identify what they call mechanical damage or man-made damage.
Which we see all the time.
Talk to a lot of adjusters, and they see it a lot. My buddy Aaron, who's an inspector for one of the companies, he has over 30 vandalism claims against one company here locally, and that's just with one insurance company from last year.
That's crazy. Yeah. So that's the old bag of nickels, a bag of ball bearings, and you get up there and you create a little superficial damage, correct? So, Ryan, here's one of the greatest things ever, and this is why I love you. And Ryan I've known Ryan for probably 20 plus years, right?
Yeah, it's been over 20 years now.
Ryan is not a guy that's going to tell you a story. I always say to everyone, you know what, don't tell me a story. We're not in kindergarten. Tell me the truth, right?
Absolutely.
You go out and you take detailed photographs.
Yep.
And I've seen you lay on your stomach and lay your camera down and shoot across the flat surface of a roof.
I was doing it yesterday.
I've actually, seen them with folks, you won't believe it or not, but it's a UV light where you stick it down the side of a wall. Mm-hmm. And you might not see, you might say, oh, I don't have any damage. And then the minute you pop that UV light on the side of the wall,
you can see this.
It looks like the whole wall's been shot with a BB gun or like a shotgun shell, with buckshot.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a few little tricks I've learned over the years, and actually most of them I've learned from the adjusters themselves.
Right.
All my best tricks I actually learned from them.
But they're really not tricks. They're just normal in the industry. But if you're just getting into the industry or you're not really well versed in the industry, you don't know to do it.
I got one method I use, and I drive them crazy with it when I get these pictures of the hail showing the fractures in the mat. None of them can figure out how I get those pictures. I had an adjuster out of Texas show me a little trick, and it literally cost me $1.
That's fantastic. Right? So that works well for Metro Home Improvement. That works well for you, right? Well, because you're able to get the claim.
Yeah, when I show them that there's a fractured mat, that's functional damage they have to buy.
So, Ryan, we've basically covered hail, right? Mm-hmm. And what it takes to get coverage for a claim with hail, right?
Yep.
What about high wind? How's high wind gauged?
Well, it depends on how the roof gets hit from the wind. What kind of damage it does. Different insurance companies have different standards where sometimes the shingles have to be blown off or actually creased where they lift it up and laid back down. Sometimes just the fastener being pulled out through the shingle and laid back down is considered coverable damage. Some of the insurance companies, want to argue, if it's repairable or if it needs to be replaced. So there's a lot that goes into wind. It can get real technical and real difficult. Typically, you need what they call a test square, a 10-foot by 10-foot area. And depending on the insurance company and their policy, at least 6 damaged shingles. And I've had them ask for as many as 21 in the 10-foot by 10-foot.
Now, is that 10-foot by 10-foot square area still applicable with hail?
Yes, absolutely.
So you got to have at least 6 shingle tabs that are damaged from hail in a 10 by 10 area.
6 shingles.
But to get the whole roof covered, it's got to be multiple slopes, right?
On every slope.
Right. But if the hail doesn't happen that way, and you only get 3 slopes, do they normally cover the whole
There's
roof?
always a windward side and a leeward side, which is the opposite side of the house that gets hit by the wind.
Correct.
And so there's always going to be more damage, and that's another way they can tell if it's actual natural damage or if it's mechanical. You know, you got some odd area that wouldn't get hit by weather, and it's all tore up.
I'm glad you said that.
But
I was thinking that exact same thing.
And it's always random. I've had a street end at another street, and did all 3 of these houses from hail. This house had hail damage, and on this corner, me and the adjuster looked for 4 hours on a not very big house. We found 4 hits in 4 hours. So,
and that was just because of the swath, correct?
You know, I can't say how Mother Nature works, but I mean, it's not there. It's not there.
Well, she was not happy with the 3 or the 4, and
you look at a cornfield after a storm. The whole field's not blown down. There's patches that are severely damaged, and there's areas that are barely damaged, and some that aren't touched at all.
So I guess to get into wind a little bit more, right? Am I right to assume that once you blow, the tab's loose, right, and they can't adhere any longer? Isn't that a coverable loss item?
It's supposed to be, but they really fight it. Now the fact that it got blown up and unsealed, that doesn't make it considered damage. But when there's windborne debris that gets onto that sealant strip while it's lifted, now it's actually a coverable damage.
Makes total sense.
But they want to fight you tooth and nail on it.
And I guess a lot of it too is because they want the shingles to be fractured from the wind, to have creases.
Right.
And if they don't have a lot of creases, then they don't want to cover the whole entire roof or that section.
Well, a lot of the times, the insurance companies are hiding behind third-party inspection companies now, where they're not sending an adjuster out the last few years. And these guys, really, they don't know. I literally have been training these guys when I've been meeting them on what to do and what's supposed to be going on. Actually, just out in Lapeer, the guy thanked me. He learned so much from me.
I know. It was my cousin's house.
Yeah, I spent like 5 hours with the guy.
I know. My cousin called me. He says, he goes, "Thank you so much for sending Ryan."
Yeah, Dakota, he's a nice kid. And what happens is if it doesn't show up good in pictures and it's real easy to identify, the desk adjuster who's reviewing the file, makes it hard for them to want to approve it. And if they don't want to approve it, all they have to say is, well, that's not what my inspector said. And they won't give us the inspection report from the third-party inspector. They won't give it to the homeowner. You literally have to go to court to get that. And make a big fuss.
And that is just recently new, right? Within the last couple of years?
Couple years, yeah.
Because they always used to email a copy of it to us. They used to email a copy of it to the homeowner, which is their client.
Now, with an engineering report, they will.
Well, that's because they're trying to get out of it.
But the third-party inspectors that they're sending out now, and, it gives them a layer of defense. It's not a multi-billion-dollar industry because they pay people money.
It's one of the podcasts that we talked about early on, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I said in that podcast was they're not in business to pay out the money like you think they are.
Right.
Right. They're insuring the property, but at the end of the day, it's all about loss ratios.
Absolutely.
Right. And once that loss ratio gets up there, they don't want to pay the claim because they're losing money.
Well, and then some of these companies actually pay the adjuster a bonus based off of their loss ratios. Let's say they have $100,000 worth of claims and they paid out 50. They'll actually get a profit share off of that at the end of the year and get a bonus. Not all the insurance companies, and those are the staff adjusters.
Right.
The outside adjusters who are usually a lot easier to work with. They're from adjustment firms, and they don't really have any skin in the game. So they're not as opposed to trying to take care of the customer. They're not getting that bonus. That's not an option for them.
Like in the last few years, what have you seen? Because I can tell you what I've seen, right? You'll have an IA, an independent adjuster, who will come out, right? And they're representing the insurance company, but you have a desk adjuster who's somewhere, let's just say Dallas, Texas, for lack of better places, right? And what they do is they write up their estimate based on what they see, and they might not have a lot of experience. Like I've had guys that have come in from out of town that are independent adjusters who don't have a lot of experience in the specifics of what I need, right? And then they write up their report, they send it off to that desk adjuster, and then the desk adjuster tries to tell me, well, that's what it is, verbatim, that's what it is. It's
right.
And I have to fight them to make sure that we get paid, the homeowner gets paid for everything that they've got coming, because we're trying to make the homeowner whole.
I had a claim in Roseville, actually. It was wind and hail, and the guy came from Texas, been an adjuster for 30 years from Texas. He knows hail. And he approves the whole roof, and the desk adjuster kicks it back completely. I call for a reinspection. They send him out again, calls for the guy who comes out and inspects it, calls for a full replacement again. They give me half a roof this time. And you can't do half a roof with 2 layers in Michigan because you can't do a repair on a 2-layer roof. It's automatic replacement. But anyway, they had a third inspection come out, and they tried to give me no roof again, the desk adjuster.
So ultimately,
so their guy who they have out in the field, who has eyes on it, who is actually there, is advising for a full replacement. And the desk is just, no, we're not doing that.
That's the frustrating part, folks. And this is what I can't stress enough to you. We are here for you. We work for our homeowners. We want your house to be whole and you to be whole so you can go about living your life back in your home pre-loss, right? We fight for you. Yep. We don't make any money off of that, Ryan. No. We do that service free of charge.
No, I don't get paid every time I get to go out. I have to go out there. I mean, what I get paid is what I get paid, no matter how much work it is or how little work it is.
Right. And that's the bad part. Like, we're acting on behalf of the homeowner to help them and to get their house covered, but we're not making any money off of it. It's not like they're paying us to do it. We're doing it to help the homeowner out and get them paid so that they can get a brand new roof or siding or whatever, and we're not a PA. We're not a public adjusting firm.
Right.
And PAs, they take a percentage of everything.
Oh, yeah. It's a healthy percentage, too.
Yeah. I mean, across the board, it's 10% of everything.
Well, luckily, I've been doing this long enough, and, I inspect everything before I even make a claim. I have a very good reputation with a lot of these insurance adjusters, where sometimes they'll call me, and I'll just send them photos and an estimate, and they won't even come out. They'll just mail a check to the homeowner.
Yeah, but Ryan, honestly, let's talk about that, okay? That's you. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in this business for a long time. You got 20 years experience. I got 41, right? So we have associations with these guys that we see them in the field all the time.
Right.
And they know that we don't produce bad estimates and that we don't fluff and add things, right?
Right.
We walk them. We write the estimate based on what we've seen. We follow the protocol. We use Xactimate, which is the only program, right, that's accepted widely across the board. And we're not there to cheat the insurance company, and we're not there to take advantage of them. We're just there to help out our client and get the client covered, right?
Yep.
So we have that in our back pocket, right? That's ours because we have those reputation and association. But most guys, they don't have it, Ryan.
Well, also, I do everything in the exact same format that they need to have in the file. I know what they need to have in the file, how they need it, and how to build the story, and that helps a lot because, when I go to meet them, I have their job done for them, basically, if they want to approve the project. If they want to deny it, now they have to do all the work. So it's more work for them to turn down my claims than to approve them.
Right. So here's another thing, and I'm going to talk about, guys. I want to touch on this, right? So 8 out of 10 guys that show up at your house, the salesperson's not licensed.
No, over 20 years doing this, I don't think I've maybe 5 people total out of over 100 that I know were properly licensed.
Right. What was the first thing I saw day one?
I had to link my sales license to your builder's license before I could do anything.
Absolutely. We had to get your sales license.
Nobody's ever made me do that, and I'm 43 years old. I've been doing this my whole life. You're the first person.
Right. There's a reason why, folks. I don't want somebody who's unlicensed, who's unexperienced, and who has no idea what they're doing trying to fix your home at all.
And
represent me.
Right.
Or represent yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I stress it. Licensing, number one. What was the next thing? Insurance.
Yep.
We're insured for $2 million. Mm-hmm. So the next thing was I got on the phone and got you an insurance binder so you would show your prospective homeowners, hey, we're insured.
Yeah, in my briefcase, I got a folder, and it says credentials on it, and I have all the licensing, the insurance, a copy of my sales license, all your builder's licenses. What do you have, like 5 or 6 builder's licenses?
We do. Yeah, we have 6. We have 6, and I got my son right now going through the classes to get his builder's license because I want him to understand the technicalities of it, how hard it is. I want him to understand the building business, being that he's 27 years old. By the time he gets his license, he'll know what's going on. Right. And it's a great class.
Yeah, I agree. And he's got probably the best teacher I've ever met.
I thank you for that. I appreciate the kind words. I try to do things the right way, and we try to be as lily white and transparent as we possibly can. So I field phone calls all day, every day. From the time I get up in the morning at 6 till the time I go to bed at night at 11, people are calling me, right? I get asked a million questions. I have no issue with answering the phone.
Oh, I've ridden around with you. Your phone never stops.
Yeah.
Ever.
But that's what you do for your clients, Ryan. When you care, that's what you do. If you don't care, you just don't answer the phone.
Well, you also have a lot going on.
I do. I do.
I really don't know how you do it.
I don't know. I guess I'm just not cut from the same box of animal crackers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, in doing this your whole life, you develop a pattern or a system of how you want to work and how you want to do things. And I've always wanted to do things the right way. I want to give more than I receive, right? So I try to give my homeowners everything they got coming and then some. And
Absolutely.
Ryan, that's brushed off on you in the last couple of years. I've really seen you take advantage of that.
Yeah, thank you. I try to treat everybody's home like I would my own.
Right.
I don't want anything that I wouldn't consider, correct or right on my own home, on somebody else's. And I really enjoy making somebody's house look that much better and seeing the joy they get from it. My favorite thing is when they've been denied with other companies because they, whatever reason.
Misrepresentation.
Whatever reason
Non-experience.
And they just absolutely don't believe that I can do what I tell them I can do, after I do the inspection.
Well, you got the baby face for 43.
Yeah, but look at all the gray.
Well, it is what it is. You got the baby face.
And, once I do my inspection, I know what I can do, with what I see. I can make them do what needs to be done as long as what needs to be there is there. I love when you can't do that. I've had 2 companies. One guy had 12 companies try, and I got him approved, and he was short he had 7 apartment complexes. He was short almost $1 million, and I got him all that money to do it at our discounted rate for all the projects. Plus, he ended up with like an extra almost $400,000 on top of what we bid it at. So he actually came out,
But that's not because we did anything illegal, immoral, or unethical.
Oh no,
we follow the Xactimate protocol,
right?
And you just submit for what's there,
right.
And what's there is what's there. Like we're not making that money, folks. I mean, if that's what other companies are making, great for them. But we're not making that money. We do our work specifically based on the Xactimate, what they're paying me to do that work.
Right.
And if there's an overage, that's not ours.
Well, yeah, it was what the situation was. It was kind of an odd one. He had 7 apartment complexes in like 3 different states, and they all had storm damage. And he had literally 12 roofing companies out. This is my first storm I was at. I was kind of the sidekick on this, but I ended up doing most of the work.
Great learning experience.
Oh yeah,
the fire's roaring and they throw you in feet first.
Absolutely. I learned a lot, just in that month, and I didn't sleep very much in that month. I had pile of estimates about that tall, and I had to go through every single one, go through Xactimate, supplement them all, and build it all up. And I had to meet. They had to send a team of 6 adjusters out, and I had to cover 6 adjusters by myself running around these apartment buildings. And I was new. I really had only been doing it for about a month. And I told them, I was honest, hey, I'm new to this. Anything I can learn from you guys that would really help me out. And they kind of took me under their wing. And, that's where I learned a large portion of, what I know was, like I said earlier, from dealing with the adjusters. And
right. That right there is an education that you can't put a price tag on. Right?
Absolutely, experience.
It's like having a master's and a PhD all wrapped into one, right? You can't really put a price tag on it, but you have the experience that you can utilize and help out your client.
And, after the first 2 storms, I thought I was hot stuff. I knew so much. I look back now, and I knew nothing compared to what I know now.
Right.
And I thought, I was hot stuff because we were doing, 75 roofs a week. But there's just so much that goes into it. I mean, the technicality of it. I'm still learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, you've known me for a long time. I'm very guarded in a lot of ways, and I don't have salesmen. Like, I don't hire anybody.
Right.
The reason being is just because I don't want a headache.
Right.
You're the only person that works with me.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And there's a reason why, because I value what you do. I honestly respect what you do. And I know that you have the same philosophies that I do. Take care of the client first and do the right thing. Right? So I'm very guarded in that. Like, I go on all my own appointments. I don't have anybody else that represents us. And I keep Metro out in the forefront, safe, and I constantly share everything with anybody as to what's happening in the marketplace and how things are going to happen. And, for me, that's been the best, I guess, dose of medicine, because I don't have issues with guys that go over and they overpromise and underdeliver.
Right.
I mean, that's what we try to avoid.
Well, my morals and, how I operate. And, you don't have to worry about me representing your company in any type of way.
Absolutely.
All you're going to get back from me is probably positive feedback and positive reviews.
Hey, I get 5-star reviews on you all the time, bud.
Right.
I couldn't thank you enough. You represent Metro very, very well. And you do a great job. Homeowners love you, right? You've had homeowners invite you over for dinner, which is fantastic, right? Same for me, right? I want to represent us as a across-the-board, fair, level, competent, experienced company who has all the proper credentials.
I just had a customer yesterday call me who we did his roof last summer. Called me yesterday and wants me to do a siding.
Yeah.
I'm getting prices. Hey, I need you to do my siding. When can you come out?
That's all I work on is referrals. Ironically, I'm working on 2 right now. We did a roof for a guy a year ago. He called. I'm doing a brand new siding job. I'm doing Everlast siding. You guys, you saw my last podcast. Everlast makes me smile. Love the product. We're actually starting his job this week, so we're going to be filming it. We're going to go out into the field, and we're going to be showing you an installation. Nobody else in this business does this. Nobody. So if you want to see a job going on, we got some great things coming down the pipeline. I'm going to be right out in the field, and we're going to show you day one when we set up tarps all the way through the job, and we're going to film it. And so when somebody says, hey, how does this process take place? All you do is go to your iPad, pop on the little icon, pull it up, and go, hey, watch it install.
That's really cool.
Right.
And especially with your guys doing siding, they do a fantastic job. I have a reputation for being very picky about the work that I represent. And your guys, man, they do an amazing job.
Butch has been with me 37 years. Can you believe it? 37 years.
I know how old Butch is, so yeah, I believe it.
And he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I would not trade him in for 10 other guys.
I got him putting together a bid for airplane hangar right now.
He texted it to me this morning.
Yeah.
I know. 50 by 50. Huge. Yeah.
50 by 50 by 14.
Or 16.
Oh,
16-foot sidewalls, yeah. Yeah, he texted me this morning. He said, hey, I need some help. No problem. But I wouldn't trade Butch for 10 guys.
No, absolutely not.
37 years. He's an awesome guy. My signing guy, top notch. I would literally put him to work on the White House. That's the kind of work that he does.
And, this market, I don't really know anybody that I would trust to do siding but Butch and maybe one other guy, and he's in his 70s himself. I just don't see the craftsmanship.
I got a couple guys, that know what they're doing. But Butch is we call him a technician.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really is a technician. Like, the guy custom bends everything.
And he hems well, I don't want to give away the secrets, but
that's fine. Hey, that's what our viewers are here to hear, right?
Okay.
He hems his metal. He hems his seams so we don't have buckles and we don't have waves in it.
You don't have the cut edge. You have a nice...
Right, nice straight.
Rounded.
Yep. And the other thing that he does, and nobody in the business, when you call up a supplier and you ask for coil, everybody's like, hey, do you have aluminum coil? Do you have Colonial White, let's say, right? They use Colonial White. We don't. We use Colonial White PVC.
Right.
Now, nobody carries it. Nobody stocks it. Everybody complains every time I go to order it. Why do you use that? Because it doesn't chalk. It doesn't fade. The UV rays don't cause it to break down.
Right.
And it's variegated and it looks like real wood. So what would you rather have on your house? A smooth aluminum siding that looks fake, or one that's variegated and looks like real wood and it's going to last forever?
And it's a little bit thicker. It's just a much better material.
Right. And when aluminum is installed, you know as well as I do, heat gets to it, it warps. You can see it on a smooth aluminum.
Well,
do it on PVC.
And the big problem is, it's the installation.
Right.
I know how to hang the metal. You can give me black metal. I got pictures in my phone of me, black metal, and it didn't, wrinkle at all. But there's, a technique.
Right.
A lot of these guys, they tight nail it. They don't pour the hole first, and, expands and contracts and it starts waving at you.
Well, you know where he impresses me? He custom bends his all brand new aluminum fans from scratch. Yeah. We don't order them. He's like, don't bother ordering those. I'm going to bend it. He'll bend it from scratch. He'll bend his own shutters, which is crazy. But if we wanted to match, like, there's colors I can't get in the coil that match shutters. You got to get something that's like, right?
Right.
He's like, don't worry about it. I'll bend my own shutter. He makes his own shutters on site. Who does that? Right?
I need to see that one.
It's crazy. That's like a pizza maker going, I don't buy tomatoes. I grow my own.
Right.
I'm going to grow my own tomatoes. I'm going to go out back. I'm going to smash them all up, and you're going to have mine. Nobody does that. But the guy does it. And that's what sets us apart. That's why I tell everybody, if you're going to get a siding quote, going to get a roofing quote, call me first. Or call me after. Don't sign anything till you talk to me.
Right, absolutely.
We don't do it like everyone else. There's a reason why. Everybody else does it. They want to get in and make that dollar and get out. Not me. I got to live with you. So I got to warranty it.
I've walked away from 2 jobs in the last week because they wanted me to do something that wasn't going to be right because another company was going to be able to do it for this amount of money, but this is how they were going to do it. And I'm not going to do that kind of work.
I've got up the table.
I just walked away.
I've got up from the table on 6-figure jobs, high 6-figure jobs, and walked away. I just reach over the table, shake their hand, say thank you very much. Appreciated the opportunity, but unfortunately, I don't think we're a good fit.
I have a giant church project I'm working on, and they're going with me. They're not even getting any other prices because after I discussed, what's going on with the building, and I actually walked away from the job and told them unless we do, this, that, and the other, I don't feel comfortable doing that work because you're just going to have the same problem again and you're going to end up hating me in 5 years and I'm not going to,
Yeah, because we warrant our projects. I love when guys say, hey, we're going to give you a lifetime warranty. How long have you been in business?
Yeah.
This is our 7th year.
My lifetime or your lifetime?
Right. This is my 7th year. Okay, so if you've only been in business 7 years, how do you give me a 40-year warranty? Right? I've got stuff right now that I'm still under warranty from that was 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right, so I had a customer call me. He's like, hey, I had 4 shingles blow off on my roof. I know, it's been about 15, 18 years. Can you come out and fix them for me? I just take them out there. I send the guy out, fix the shingles. What do I owe you? I go, 0.
Well, I also seen a technique that one of the big companies around here uses for their lifetime warranty is, they kind of change their name a little bit every about 4 or 5 years. A little different variation of their name.
Yeah, I you know what? I can't really speak to that. And I know where you're going with it.
Right.
I can't really speak to it, but I will tell you, I haven't changed my name.
Right. I know.
You know what? If we screw it up, we own it. Mm-hmm. And we try not to screw it up. So, Here's what I want to close with, Ryan. I guess we've talked about siding and we've talked about insurance. We've talked about the roofing end of it, right? Let's talk about 2025, right? Mm-hmm. And what's happening and how things are going. Are you seeing more damage in 2025? Is the weather pattern slowed down a little bit? What are you seeing?
They're calling for one of the biggest years we've had in the last 10. The way the weather, the air currents are coming out of the Arctic and coming up, they're expecting record numbers of hailstorms, of incidences of extreme weather and severe weather.
So that's your wheelhouse.
I follow a couple of the companies who track the weather for the insurance companies. They have actual meteorologists, and I get updates and reports, and I watch their podcasts. And they were doing their predictions actually while I was driving. That's what I do, is I watch that stuff on YouTube or listen to it while I drive. And
Ryan, you should be watching our podcast.
Yeah, well, I gotta know what I know to do what I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all of them are all on the same page that it's going to be record years, and they already are doing a second podcast. They did this 2 months ago, and they're updating that they've already blown away the numbers they were expecting in some areas, where they got more storm reports of severe weather in some areas that they thought for the whole year, and they've already hit it in 2 months.
So we might see a lot of damage this year in the insurance business, is what you're saying.
They're calling for a really, really good year for us.
Well, with that, right? Obviously, you're with us here at Metro. So I want you to look into the camera, and I want you to tell everyone, how do they get a hold of you if they experience high wind, hail, water damage, something that happens to their home? How do they get a hold of you?
You can call me at 586-460-6313, and we'll set up an appointment. I'll come out. I'll do a free inspection. And when I'm doing my inspection, I'll take pictures of what I see and show them to you and explain to you why you have damage that's covered or why you don't. And then we can discuss, what the next step will be.
Yep. So a couple of ways you can get a hold of us here at Metro Home Improvement. Number one, we're a big subscriber, and we're part of the Hire It Done program with Adam Helfman. So if you have an issue and you want to get a hold of me, we do a multitude of things. You can go to hireitdone.com. Secondly, we have our own website. It's www.metrohomeimprovement.com. www.metrohomeimprovement.com. You can reach me direct. My phone number is 586-929-0224. That line is open because we're a restoration company, and you might have a catastrophic event, 24 hours. If I don't answer, leave a text message or leave me a message. I will call you back. That's our second way. The third way is, guys, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, just jump on and subscribe to our YouTube, our Facebook, and our Instagram. And recently, we've also got a TikTok page up, and that's running, that videos are going to be uploaded to, where we're going to constantly keep that up, and we're going to show you different things out in the field, so you'll get to see work. But subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and our Instagram. Costs nothing. It helps us out tremendously, and ultimately it'll help you out in the long run, as we're going to be there looking out for you, and you'll see exactly why. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we don't see you with a catastrophic event, but if you have one, we're there for you. Thank you.